keynote speakers, respected guests, and our beloved participant and presenter at this seminar. On behalf of the organizing committee, I'm deeply honored to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all participants of the fifth conference on youth community leadership and engagement held in Malang, Indonesia on August 13, 2025. I would also like to express my highest appreciation to the organizing committee member whose dedication, professionalism, and hard work have brought this event to life. We are sincerely grateful for the generous support of Universitas Brawijaya and the Directorate of Research and Community Service, without which this conference will not have reached its scale and success. This year's conference, held under the theme Innovative Youth Leadership for a Sustainable Future, integrating science, technology, and local wisdom to accelerate the SDGs. Proudly welcome participants from Mahasiswa Membangun Desa 2025. Your strong commitment to community engagement clearly demonstrate the real change begin at the local level and grow stronger when shared globally. We extend our special appreciation to our keynote speaker, Prof. Valerie from University of Russia, Dr. Lee from University Technology Malaysia, Prof. Sri Suhartini from Universitas Brawijaya, and Mujahidin Ahmad PhD from Kyushu University. Thank you for sharing your expertise and insight, which have enriched our discussion and strengthened the impact of this conference. With sincere appreciation, we thank to the organizing committee for their tireless work and professionalism in making this conference possible. To all presenter and participant, your active involvement have not only enhanced the quality of the event, but also reinforced the spirit of global collaboration toward achieving the SDGs. Once again, thank you for your participation and support. May this conference serve as a catalyst for further collaboration, innovation, and shared commitment toward a more sustainable future. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Ria Dewi Andriani, for the warm welcoming speech. Next, we'll move to the head of the RPM speech. However, we are sorry because the Vice Rector of Research and Innovation of Brawijaya University cannot attend this meeting for some reasons. In consequence, the official opening will be done by Professor Lukman Hakim. Now, let us open the event officially and hear insightful remarks from the head of the RPM. Please welcome Professor Lukman Hakim, SSE, MAGR, SJ, PhD.
Thank you, moderators. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished keynote speakers in this today conference, respected guests, colleagues, and the vibrant young participant of Mahasiswa Membangun Desa. Welcome to the 5th International Conference on Youth Leadership and Community Engagements. It is a true honor for the Directorate of Research and Community Service to host this meaningful gathering. The cycle conference actually has already been a platform where ideas meet action and where youth leadership find pathway to real-world impact. This year's theme, Innovative Youth Leadership for a Sustainable Future, integrating science, technology, and local wisdom to accelerate the Sustainable Development Goals, is not just a slogan, but a call to unite innovation, tradition, and commitment in service of our community. We are especially proud that this conference welcome participants who experience a root in the real community engagement through Mahasiswa Membangun Desa. Your work in the village across the nations demonstrate that meaningful change begin at the grassroots levels and grow stronger when shared globally. It is also my privilege to acknowledge and welcome our esteemed keynote speakers, Prof. Valerie from People Friendship University of Russia, Dr. Lee from University Technology Malaysia, Professor Sri Suhartini from Universitas Brawijaya, and also Dr. Mujahideen from Kyushu University. Their contribution will broaden our perspective and inspire our collective efforts. To the organizing committee, thank you for your dedication and professionalism in bringing this conference to life. To all presenters and participants, your presence enrich this event and strengthens the global network of youth leaders, scholars, and practitioners commitment achieving the sustainable development goals. The discussion, exchange, and collaboration that emerge here today guide us for the challenge we face. With Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I open this conference and may Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala give harapan with us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Lukman Hakim, for officially opening this conference and for the remarkable speech. Now, we may move to the next agenda to watch the MMD video. Please enjoy the video. To the committee, please present the video. Okay, what a delightful sights we have seen. Okay, hereafter, we will move to the core of the event, the plenary session, which will be led by our moderator, Mr. Inggang Perwangsanul Alam, SA MBA PhD from Faculty of Administration Science, for our first two sessions. Please welcome Mr. Inggang Perwangsanul Alam, SE MBA PhD.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope we are doing well. We just finished the community service called MMD. Now we are going to the conference, international conference, and I would like to lead the first session of this of speaking from Professor Sri Suhartini and Professor Lee. So the first speaker is Prof. Suhartini. The affiliation of the speaker is Department of Agro-Industrial Engineering, Faculty of Agriculture, Technology and Agriculture Technology of Universitas Brawijaya. And her research interests on bioenergy, anaerobic digestion of biomass and modeling, management and treatment of solid waste and wastewater, techno-economic and life cycle assessment, and biorefinery and bioeconomy. And her education is PhD from Civil Engineering and Environment, University of Southampton, UK, and Scopus Index over 51, meaning that this number is influencing or cited by many papers of the researchers around the world. And research grant that have been received by her is Sustainable Lobster Feed Innovation, a circular economy approach integrating Hermetia eloquens and Mytilopsis adamsi for organic waste. And then it is mentioned also her articles. You can find it on Google. This is well known, and also you can look at the articles of her research in details on regarding the sustainable corrosion protection. And the second speaker is from Professor Lee. Professor Lee Huan Yik, the affiliation is from Language Academy, Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, University of Technology, Malaysia, UITM Johor Bahru. His education is PhD in Education, Language Policy, School of Education, and from University of Queensland, Australia. His research profile high index with 4 Scopus and 3 from Web of Science, and 5 from ResearchGate and 7 from Google Scholar. Research grant that he's received is Humanizing and reimagining language policy and planning for a multilingual nation, an examination of linguistic ideologies among Malaysian from UTM encouragement. And also he's had a book and articles. You can find it on the website from Google, and then it's easy to find out his research regarding the book and the articles. The first session of this speaking is from Prof. Sri Suhartini, and she will deliver the speaking. It's about 30 minutes from now. Prof. Sri Suhartini, time is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, moderator. Should I operate my own PPT? Okay. Yep. Thank you very much for the time given to me to share and express, the experience that I have achieved so far. And today I would like to share to all the students from Universitas Brawijaya who join in MMD programs. And hopefully I can provide like motivations, possibly inspirations, and how to become a leader, visionary leader, hopefully for you to go for your next milestone of life. So today I will share my talk, with entitled of Forward Thinking Leadership, Developing Leadership Skill for Sustainable Change. Okay. We know that, next please. Sorry. Okay, so before I start my talk, I would like to share my so far experience as part of being a leader in Universitas Brawijaya, as well as me as a person for a research interest and in international level. So at the moment, I am a head of departments agro-industrial technology in Faculty of Agricultural Technology, Universitas Brawijaya. So actually, when I started, when I returned back from my study in 2017, I was already given a very big task, as a head of study programs, and then move forward as secretary of departments, and then move forward as head of departments. So at the beginning, I have no idea why, all my colleagues like chosen me as one of the uh, person to manage the operationals of our study programs and departments. But starting from that point, I learned that become a leader is quite tough. And maybe I will share my experience to you all. And then I also very active, as a secretary of Center of Excellence in Bioenergy and Biorefinery. Within this platform, I'm able to expand my interest on research, as well as establishing new networks and strengthening our current networking, which is very important for improving the institution's KPI. And at international level, I'm also active as the member of Organizations for Women in Science for the Developing World. Since 2017, I was a member, and then in 2023, I was appointed as a vice president of OWSD Indonesian chapter. In these institutions, I have been able to have more engagement, especially with excellent women scientists around Indonesia, in which I also can have a very good network, with them in order to expand my soft skills, as well as in order to expand my research expertise and community engagement experiences. Okay. Next. So within this context, I believe that being a woman, there is no kind of hindrance or limitations to be part of a leader, and I, based on my experience, Universitas Brawijaya has given a wide platform for women to be a leader in any respective field. So now, I will begin with Albert Einstein. So we cannot solve problems with the same thinking that created them. This means, we know there are a very big problems happenings around the world. We as an individual also have problems ourselves. But in order to provide the solutions, to create the solutions to problems, we need to think differently. So to become a leader, one of the tasks is to give solutions to any problem faced, right? That's as part of we as a leader. Okay, so the approach is to have a comprehensive and a different way of thinking in order to solve the problems. So why? Why we have to provide solutions based on different perspective? First, we already know there are a global shifting happening around the world, right? Different era, different informations, different technology development has shifting the way of people thinking and act. Maybe you guys familiar with the differences of generations. Like me, they call us as baby bloom generations because I was born in 1980. And nowadays, they call it Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever. And every generation has difference and uniqueness. Yeah. And we know that actually at the moment, based on United Nations data in 2023, around 1.8 billion young people aged 15 to 29 today. And most of them are part of Gen Millennium, Gen Z, and possibly in the next future is Gen Alpha. The way how they act, the way how they think, the way how they communicate are different. That's a big challenges as well faced by us. And it needs to be known, by a leader in order to be able to identify how to move them. Then we also know there are many challenges, problems globally, from the climate change crisis, due to humans activities, industrial activities, all transportations activities, which is targeting to provide better living for humanity. But we know those activities has consequences on damaging the environments. We know that governments, leaders around the world try to tackling the challenges in climate change, right? Using approach by integrating SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, in every activities. Maybe you already see all the video of the MMD programs. You see all activities are always related to the achievement of SDGs. That is also a challenge for any leader around the globes. Another challenges or problems in the world is digital disruptions. Okay, the social media is happening. Young generations totally depend on social media to have the feeling of presence. The concept of FOBO, what is current trend. So young generation tend to follow what is actually trending nowadays, as if they don't have their own uniqueness because they follow the influencer. This is really intriguing, for us, for me, in order to mold this young generation to be able to have a different pathway of thinking. This is also challenges and why we need to be able to have forward-thinking leadership in place. Another problem is inequality. Maybe I already share you that I have a privilege, to be acknowledged as researchers, as a head or person in charge, but to get those there are a lot of struggles that I have to face, especially as a woman. We know there are some inequalities between men and women, and it is also a challenge for us how to tackle this. Okay, inequality due to gender, inequality due to inclusivity or exclusivity, yeah, marginal groups or communities, yeah, people with disability, for example. Of course, there is a big problems, but I do believe nowadays we are moving forward to a positive trend where gender, inclusivity, social differences are being taken in considerations, yeah, to put in practice and in actions to any research or community engagement activities, either national or at international level. Okay, so we have challenges, but we do also have opportunities. Okay, as I mentioned before, that nowadays around 1.8 billion young people with the age of 15 to 29. So there is an opportunity to bring youth agility, yeah, in order to mold them to have a different perspective and able to influence, to have a forward-thinking leadership, and able to provide a better way of acknowledging and experiencing life. Opportunities in terms of innovations in any aspect, yeah, especially in academia situations. Innovation is a key word, yeah, either in research, either in community engagement, or either in quality, yeah, in any innovations is critically needed. Why we need to innovate? Because through innovations, it's often given a better life change. Yeah. Innovations giving much improved conditions. You as a young generations nowadays already experience it. For example, innovations in communications. Yeah. I remember when I was a little kid, yeah, to communicate with our friends locally or internationally, usually we use a letter, right? But due to the internet, yeah, website innovations, WhatsApp, social media, you can fastly connect with your friend anywhere, anytime. That's examples of how innovations is actually change the pattern, change our life. Of course, there is also the negative side. Then the opportunities of global mindset. It is very critical to have an open mindset, and I know nowadays young generations are tend to have a global mindset instead of very narrow. Yeah. Okay. Next, please. And those agility, innovations perspective, a global mindset is very much needed to enable young generations to have forward thinking leadership. So, what is actually forward thinking leadership? So, it is defined as a proactive leadership based on a vision for the futures and adaptive to change. Back or years before, we know that leader always defined by a dictatorship. Yeah. Always like, you have to do this, you need to do this, blah, 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 blah. There is no such opportunity. Yeah. to say something to the leader. You just follow what they directions. But nowadays, using those approach, you cannot. You cannot. So we have to be adaptive to change. Why? I mentioned before, life changes, lifestyle changes, yeah, mindset changes, okay, attitude changes. So that becoming a leader, we have to also be able to be adaptive, okay, in order to be able to move people, to achieving what is our visions and the target. Okay, and we have to be proactive. Okay, so visionary. Okay. As a leader, when we say we have a forward thinking, so we have to have a visionary. Yeah. As an individual, I believe you as an individual has a visions of life, isn't it? Me, myself, also have a visions of life. What is my visions? Yeah. What is your visions? Those visions actually define how you will move forward, how you will act, and how you will behave, and how you will motivate yourself either internally or externally. So visions is very important. It is the same case in organizations. If you are chosen or we are selected as a leader, so we have to have our own visions as a leader. So visionary approach is based on my experience. Yeah, it should be like a comprehensive way. Yeah, thinking ahead. Yeah, in the future, like 10, 15 years. Okay, what will happen in order for us to define the visions of organizations. Okay, next is innovative. Okay, yeah, innovation as a key. So leader need to be innovative. Okay. What I will say about innovative is different way, yeah, we can do to be an innovative. Okay. Sometimes due to the lacking of facilities, due to of the lacking of financial support or financial difficulties, facilities, very limitations, those can also motivate to be an innovative leader. Okay. So sometimes hurdles, limitations, challenges create or trigger, yeah, a person to be more innovative. And then adaptive, I did mention before. So don't be a very strict is good, discipline is very good, but at some point we need to be adaptive to be a leader. When we need to implement disciplines or strict, but when we need to be more, solve something like that. It's kind of stick and carrot approach, yeah, and to see that every person is unique. If you work as a team, yeah, as a team, and you as a leader, so you need to know, you need to identify, you need to kind of make evaluations to all your member, the uniqueness of each person. In that way, you are able to engage more, become a proactive, and collaborations based. is also related with the SDGs number 17, yeah, partnership, yeah. Maybe a few decade ago, we can go as one man show. Okay, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, la 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 la. Everything is myself. But nowadays, no. It is a big no for you, yeah, to work alone in any aspect, in any activities. Working as a team, working in collaborations, using multidisciplinary approach is essential. So collaboration base is very much needed, yeah, to be a forward-thinking leadership. Okay, next. So, what are the main pillars of forward-thinking leadership? Future visionings, I did mention before. Yeah. Adaptive strategies. Okay. Every member, every person has different attitude, has a different background, has a different culture, okay, have different psychological conditions. So at some point, as a leader, we need to be able to see those kind of fragility within the member. So in order we can attract, yeah, like their inner motivations to be able more engaged to the activities within the institutions. Then people empowerment. Yeah. As a leader, we need to be able to see what is or the capability of each member of your group or team in order to appoint the right persons on the right place or positions. It is very crucial. Based on my experience, okay, working in a team, working in a institutions, okay, let's say a team, a group, okay, we cannot have the member of the team with the same competencies, with the same capabilities. No, we need people with different competencies and capabilities. So I will give you an example. In our research group, like Center of Excellence, we have maybe youngster, okay, involving in the activities, running the center. Each youngster, each member of researcher fellow has different capability, and I need to be able to identify each person capability. Okay, so in order for us, yeah, to appoint it a good task for them, and sometimes we give them challenge in order for them to improve their own capabilities. Okay. So there is a research fellow who are very much good in tackling like administrative stuff, blah blah blah. There is a researcher very good in technical aspect. Go to the field, go with the community, making a machine, yeah, drawing, etc. So those different capabilities are needed in order to support an institutions to operate well. In this examples is research or center of excellence. So the same case of me as a head of departments. Okay, so I need to be able to see, to be able to point it the lecturer with their tasks, yeah, to see performance and etc. Okay, collaborative networks, yeah, is very much important, locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. And for you, yeah, young generations, yeah, MMD students, okay, collaborative networks, it can be a challenge, yeah, for you if you are born from the COVID generations, yeah, because for collaborative networks, soft skill, communication skill is critically needed, yeah, how we communicate with other person with different background, okay, how we communicate orally or verbally and writing, yeah, in order to provide more engagement to our future or to our stakeholder, partner, future partner or stakeholder, in order to kind of giving a sense to them that we are capable enough, to have collaborations with them. And then sustainable decisions making. Yeah. This means that making a decisions for a leader is often difficult, okay? Because we cannot fulfill all dreams, all people needs, something like that. So we need to make a prioritizations, okay? And make sure that it is based on a win-win solutions before we make a decisions making. And we need to know and we need to ensure that any decisions that we make have benefits, yeah, either economically, yeah, socially, and nowadays is environmentally. Okay, next, please.
Prof. Sri Suartini, you have 3 minutes left.
Okay, next
Thank
slide,
you.
please. I will try to move forward. Just few more slides. Okay, next slide. Thanks. Yeah. So these are some challenges to forward-thinking leadership, culture, uncertainty, a gap within the scale, soft skill or hard skill. Remember, if you are clever, your hard skill are very good, but you are having lacking in soft skill, that's a big, big major challenges that you have to tackle. Okay, and then shallow insight, okay, cognitive biases in decisions, etc. Okay, just read. Next, please. This is the most important one. Okay, so how? Road to visionary leader or forward-way thinking. So first, we have to define the North Star or the goal, the target, the vision. So sometimes as a leader, we need to plant our dream. Okay, planting the dream to our organizations, institutions is very much important. And crafting a compelling strategy narrative. What we believe, what we promise, that can create the brand, that can create the visions of us as a leader. Build organizational ambiguity, which is operational excellence. And often, as a leader, we also need to do some experiments, like testing the water, give a challenge to our employees, yeah, provide them a different task to see whether they can expand or not, okay, test the water, do some experiment. It is also, I have done it. So I often do like a social experiment to know how people will react. Run change with objective and key result. Make sure you know what is the objective, what is the aim of the institutions, yeah, in order to be able to get a better advancement. So, for example, me, yeah, as a head of departments, as a leader, so I have to define if I run one programs, but I can achieve 5 or 6 KPI, then I will do it. And I will define one program, okay, but aiming several KPI. For example, sending the lecturer overseas using the department money. So I request them to do teaching, maybe community engagement. So at some point, one lecturer can get 3 KPI. It's very good for our institutions. So using limitations in financials, but can targeting more KPI. Foster psychological safety. There are 4 stages of people: inclusions, learner, contributor, and challengers. How we become a challengers, which is we can voice our way of thinking openly. That is also needed. But like I mentioned before, in any organizations, there are people with inclusions, learner, contributor, challenges. The main is that we need to appreciate, provide them appreciations. They say, thank you, well done, very good. Appreciation is very good in order to provide them psychological safety. So they are believe to us, they are follow what we want. Forge ecosystem partnership, okay? Engaging the community with coalitions, okay? Think local and act global, okay? Curiosity is very much important, okay? Because if you curiosity about something, so you will try to find out, try to solve the problem, for example. Innovations using problem solving. That's some of the pathway, yeah, may be applicable to you guys as a youngster in order to be able forward thinking leadership. Okay, next please. So I will provide you an examples, okay, of several activities in terms of community engagement in which I become part of the chair or head of the team. Yeah, next please. So, relax. So, turning pressure, challenges, and hardship into positivity makes inspiring and great leader. So, as a leader, if any problems, if any challenges, there will be a solutions. And how to turning all negativities, all hardship into positivity is pretty much important to be a great leader. Be adaptive, be innovative, yeah, and be think globally and also act sustainably. Next, please. Yeah, these are some of the examples in which I'm a team, a head of the team or person in charge for international collaborations and national collaborations in community engagement. With University Putra Malaysia, I'm able to connect, yeah, UPM, OUS, Indonesian chapter, Taylor universities, yeah, in order doing community engagement in Malaysia involving students, local communities, local NGO, academia, and etc. This is very much good, and to be able to move them joining in this program, you need a soft skill. You need a capability to move them with you to follow what the directions and the visions of the programs by working collaboratively. Next.
Prof, sorry, the
Yep.
time is up, Prof.
Okay. Yeah. So the next slide is just again the same. Yeah, international collaborations. Yeah. Next we do composting, BSF. Okay. Yeah. Next. Maybe one moment. Next. This is doctoral community service in Kalimantan, matching fund in Probolinggo, Plandirenjo, Boyolali. Okay. All is about how to connect with community, how to connect with the students, the academicians, the governments, yeah, the NGO in order to provide innovations-based problem solutions to local challenges, yeah, faced by the local community. And in order to be able to enforce these programs, okay, visionary, adaptive, okay, so sustainable decision making are pretty much needed. I think, yeah, that's all for my presentations. Thank you, moderator. Time
Yeah.
is yours.
Thank you, Prof. Sri Suhartini, for speaking. I just noted that you just given many examples of the leadership on your projects that you have been done, and also you mentioned about the 4 key values of leadership. It's about vision, innovative, adaptive, and collaboration. I think we move to second speakers. He's talking about community involvement, and the second speaker is Professor Huan Yik Lee. He will deliver his speech about 30 minutes from now. Professor Lee, are you there? Are you on this room already?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think you can put up my slides, please. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Prof. The time is yours.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ingang. Sorry, that's the last slide, I think. I think um I think we have to move all the way up. Sorry. Okay. So I think there are slides before this. Yeah, okay. So I think this is my first slide. Okay. I know it's quite a long one for all of you here to be listening. I think we have 4 straight keynote speeches. But please bear with us. Okay. So we'll try to make it more interesting and informative as well. Okay, so I think thank you very much, Prof. Sri Suhartini, on such an inspiring session. Talk you're sharing on forward-thinking leadership as well as what you have done with the community and really a very distinguished and accomplished scholar. I commend you for that, and I enjoyed your presentation very much. And I think there is kind of a continuity because I'm also asked to look at what we call community involvement or engagement, but I suppose I definitely have much less experience as compared to Prof. Sri Suhartini. Anyway, I'm just going to share my experiences, which I hope the students, because I think most of you in the audience are students, so I hope all of you can perhaps relate to based on my own experience. At the same time, I will share a little bit about objectives of community engagement. I believe all of you know about all this. It's just to recap or sometimes just remind ourselves, right, about what we do and the impact that we can have on the people around us and the community. And then also about some of the regional, local, as well as global impact that you can make by being involved or getting engaged in community engagement, community service, or what we call nowadays as service learning. So, well, I'm based at UTM, so also an honorary fellow at the School of Education, University of Queensland, Australia. So I think I'll start off with this particular quote. We make a living by what we get, okay, but we actually make a life by what we give, right? So I think it's really important for us to know that yes, we actually get so many things, right? From so many different people. Or people say take, right? We take so many things from the environment. I think that's what Prof. Sri mentioned earlier, from the environment, from the people around us, from the community, and so on and so forth, right? So that's what we get, right? But I think in order to make a life that is worth living, we also need to give back, right? Give back to the society, give back to the community, give back to our environment even, okay, and so on and so forth, right? So because we are all in this together, right? All of us are living on Earth, right? I don't know if anyone lives on Mars in the future, right? So but anyway, since we are all here, right? So we need to work and help each other rather than just taking and accepting, absorbing, and getting things from people. We also need to give, right? We also need to contribute. We also need to share and dedicate our lives, right, to the community and society around us. So I think that's really, really important. Okay, next. So let me go into a little bit of introduction about my own experiences. Okay. So yes. So I think this is based on what I believe. I'm sure all of you have a better idea than me when it comes to community engagement and service learning. I was told that a large majority of all of you were actually involved in service learning activities, which was part of your curriculum. And then all of you were also involved in some kind of community engagement with, I think Prof. Sri mentioned between universities and then with communities, and it's mutual benefit, right? So sometimes we think that, oh, it's only us contributing, it's only us doing what we call CSR, another quite a popular term nowadays, corporate social responsibility. So we think that it's only what we do, right? Or ESR, environmental and social responsibility. But actually, it's more than that, right? Because the communities also benefit from us, and we benefit as well, right? By engaging with the community. I know some lecturers, some professors who are targeting certain communities, that they want to help because the communities need our help. At the same time, we also need to achieve, like what Prof. Sri mentioned, certain KPIs or share our expertise, right? For the to transform the society's environment, and also to share the knowledge that we have, right? In whatever field that you are involved in, because I know all of you come from very diverse backgrounds and disciplines. Okay, so that is part of knowledge exchange, and then also capacity building, right? So sometimes we guide the farmers, or we help people at the hospitals or clinics, right? Sometimes we work with the police force, right? We also work with other universities, right? People from disadvantaged or vulnerable backgrounds, right? With immigrants, okay, with refugees, and so on and so forth, right? So I think we also train people to be involved in all this. So that's part of capacity building. And then if you're able to do that well, then some of the communities will be self-sufficient, and then they'll become more innovative and creative. So I hope you can all relate to Prof. Sri's presentation earlier about being a forward-thinking leader, right? Then we'll think about all this and trying to do as much as we can and then kill a few birds with one stone. I think Prof. Sri mentioned that a lot as well. So relating that to service learning, okay? So community engagement is what you can do anytime you want, outside the classroom, outside your own comfort zone, even things which are not part of the university. Okay, so community engagement is whatever you can do with NGOs, with the community out there, with private sector, with industry and government organizations, universities, and so on. However, service learning, okay, means that they have included this element into the curriculum. Okay, that is why all of you are nowadays kind of compelled, right? Or are somehow or rather, you like it or not, you have to be involved, because they have integrated this element into the curriculum. So and I think it's very meaningful. I have some of this in the following slides, talking about why integrating a community service with the curriculum learning outcomes, and then later on doing reflection is very meaningful and useful and interesting, of course. And then it makes you feel that you feel a sense of belonging, a sense of achievement, right? And then of course it makes all of you want to do it, right? Because there's the element of marks, right? You get certain grades, you get certain marks, so you don't have a choice, right? So you have to be involved. So I think that's something that is good as well. So you make it compulsory for people to contribute back to the community. Okay, so I would say the core elements will be, you know, academic connection. You can connect with people outside. So let's say you connect with NGOs, you connect with private sector, industry, and so on. Who knows? You know, they might be those might be places that you can do your internship. And if they're interested in your work, they might want to continue collaboration on research, or even land you a job somewhere. You know, they will offer you some kind of opportunities, etc., and so on. Right? So, and reciprocity is something important. So that means learning with the communities and not just serving them. I think I've mentioned that a lot as well. So give back, you know, find a way to serve in a community, help them in some ways to add value. Okay, bring joy, as you can see in some of my following slides, and I'm sure all of you have even more to share, and hopefully have a positive impact on the lives of others, and not only for yourself. Okay, next, please. So now that I mentioned community involvement and service learning, let me share a little bit about sorry, my own experiences. So I just to relate to Prof. Sri Suhardini, she also mentioned about think global and act local. So in other words, it's about being local, right? So we think about global solutions and we try to take actions locally. So I attended some global citizenship workshops when I was studying. I was trying to relate to my experience as a student. So hopefully it's more relatable to all of you here as students. So as students, I did a lot of volunteer activities. So they're also called community engagement. So I just highlight a few of them. So apart from global citizenship workshops, I also did what we call Future Frontiers, where I was giving career coaching to primary and secondary school students. Okay, from what you call disadvantaged backgrounds, right? Okay, so and then I was also involved quite a lot in Barbican theater, or we say it's a kind of where we use drama and poetry and songs, art, and so on to express ourselves and to combat racism, to celebrate multiculturalism, multilingualism, and to basically embrace differences, right? So it's called Day of Difference, and I think it's very, very interesting. So we have activities like how to change the world in 7 days, yeah? So and we did lots of fundraising activities, and these are the others which you guys are more familiar with, you know. We did environmental, mental health, special needs education awareness campaigns, and so on and so forth. And at UTM right now, where I am, we also have lots of CSR, we call it corporate social responsibility projects. We did beach cleanups, we did Toys for Friends. I will share a little bit more after this. And then at the same time, I think what is more important also was my own involvement when I was studying in London many years ago now. So I was involved in 3 faith forums where I was engaged. I was sent to schools, right, to share about religious practices and to share about differences in cultures, traditions, and customs, and so on with the local students there who might not have had contact with people from outside the UK, for example. And then I was also involved in Befrienders and a few others where you mix with old folks, right? Old people and people who actually feel very lonely and they have nobody to talk to them or you know, share things with them, and you find that you learn a thing or two, right, from people who are much older than us as well. So it's learning how to connect with them also. But there are lots of challenges. I would like to highlight some of the challenges as well. So I think the slide is missing on my side. Dr. Ingang is the slide. Yeah, okay. So the one before, please. Sorry. Okay, yeah. The next one, sorry. So yeah, the challenges, right? So I think we often talk about bureaucracy paperwork, and you would think that, oh, it only happens in countries like Indonesia, or it happens in countries in Southeast Asia, and so on. No, let me tell you, the concerns about bureaucracy paperwork is everywhere. So when I was just registering, can you imagine? I was just trying to register as a volunteer, right? It's not a paid job, okay? And yet I have to fill in lots of application forms, okay? And I need approval, sometimes even police approval. They want to check on your behavior. I need to attend interviews, I need to go for health checks, okay? And then I need to fill in, I need to even write proposals. I need to attend interviews and present myself. And then I need to attend lots of trainings, okay, just to become a volunteer, okay, and it's not even a paid job, a paid role. So they're very professional in doing these kind of things, right? So they call it, you have to be a trained volunteer, okay. And then at the same time, we have other challenges as well. I believe all of you face all these too. It clashes with your own schedule, right? You have assignments coming up, you have activities, you want to go for movies with your friends, you want to go and play games with your friends, you want to go traveling with your family. So it clashes with your schedule, right? But you somehow have to sacrifice many things, right? If you really, really want to do well in service learning or community engagement activities, because you sometimes have to sacrifice many, many things, like I mentioned. Okay, and time constraint too. How much time can you spend on all these things, right? When you have many other things going on as well. And let's say you want to prepare for an activity with an industry or with a community outside, then you need to prepare a lot, right? Sometimes way in advance. You need to prepare weeks in advance, right? So time constraint, and then you need to work as a team. So it's not very easy, right? And of course, I know many of you, perhaps you'll be tempted to pursue paid work, right? I'm sure many of you want to do something that is paid, right? You want to get money for your services, right? You can charge people for your services sometimes even, yeah? Or you want to get a job out there, you can get more money, and then you can use the money to do something else, right? Rather than being involved in community engagement activities or volunteerism and so on, where it's not only is not paid, it also takes up a lot of your time, energy, and resources, right? Like for me, I just to share, I used to travel to somewhere far away from my own house, from my own accommodation, just to conduct volunteering activities, right? So I traveled for 2 hours, okay, one way, and then 4 hours, two ways, so just to be involved for another 2 hours, so just for a 2 hour activity, I need to spend 6 hours, for example, right? When you can actually spend time on other quality or more meaningful activities, perhaps, right? But no, that's the trade-off, right? That you have to make. Okay, next slide, please. So these are some of my personal reflections. I've mentioned reflections, and I'm sure all of you will be asked to do reflections as well, because it's part of your service learning component, right? After conducting an activity, you tend to do reflections because that's where you really learn, right? And then I actually dug up all these reflections, from many, many years ago, because I was asked to be a speaker at this conference. So you don't have to read through everything. I just put those in yellow. This is my experience. I'm sure all of you will have different kind of experience as well, because that shows your impact and what you have learned or what you have contributed. Okay. So I've learned to ask the right questions, okay, and how to ask or answer questions the right way. Okay, so you'll be surprised. There are people, there was kids or students who asked me, are you a religious person? Right? And then I said, well, I'm not too sure how to answer the question. And then I asked the students back, what do you mean by being religious? And you'd be surprised with the answer given by them. They said, being religious means you have a religion. Okay, so that means I was thinking, most people have a religion, but to them, having a religion is also something that not everyone has, so then that to them is already being religious. Okay, and they used to ask all kinds of very weird questions, and is to handle all this amicably, carefully, and so on, right? And then you have to build your confidence to speak in public. Yeah, so I used to speak in front of 60, 100 over people, and you don't know what kind of questions you expect from them. And they can ask you questions that sometimes you're not even comfortable with answering, right? They even ask me questions about my name. They ask me, why are you given such kind of names? Or what makes your parents give you these kind of names? And why is your name so different from our names? So these are just some examples, right? And they gain insights on how youth today perceived identity and faith, right? And it is also directly related to their school curriculum. So I don't know whether you learn it in Indonesian curriculum, but in the UK, they have it in religious education, philosophy, and ethics curriculum. Okay, so they have it under that, and then they're very open-minded about all the different kinds of religious practices and cultural practices around the world. Okay, so that and it's part of what we call interfaith dialogue. Okay, next. So yeah, it's always about celebrating differences and accepting diversity. Okay, so and next one, we're talking about my involvement as a Future Frontiers career coach. So, and I learned different kind of techniques. You find it's very surprised when you get to meet students and you ask them what kind of careers, a range of careers that they would like to explore. Okay, and then you have to inspire them and encourage them and motivate them. Okay, so that they feel that this is something that they look forward to, and then they will try to do well in their studies, or they try to relate more to the kind of career that they want to involve in. For example, some of them want to become footballers. Some of them want to become hairstylists, right? Some of them maybe they want to become chefs, okay? Or they want to become engineers, okay? And so on. So what we do is, we tell them what you need to do at school, what you need to do at college, in order to prepare yourselves for that. And then at the same time, we also share with them about their dreams, why it's important to have dreams, because they are from disadvantaged backgrounds, right? So they may think that life is meaningless, or they don't feel that studying is important at all, and we try to steer them back to the right path so that they would not become a hooligan or go and become a gangster and so on, right? And then one thing that's very interesting from this program is that we actually got in touch with professionals in the chosen careers that they have chosen, and then we asked them to chat with these students, okay, so that the students feel that, oh, okay, inspired by these people who can be their role models. And then they say, oh, wait, one day we would like to be like you. And then they are career driven, they are more inspired and motivated, and hopefully they will do well and perform better in their studies, and then hopefully can achieve their dreams one day in the future. So I think this is also very important and meaningful because it contribute to the lives of these students, and then hopefully help them carve out and change their lives, right? Okay, next. So another personal reflection that I had was when I was volunteering for this kind of a hospital charity program activity. So and then well, it's really interesting, I was employed, not paid, right? So I was a steward, and my job was just to distribute water to the runners. You think that this kind of job is very easy, but do you know what? We have another role to play. And we were asked to be the cheerleading team at the finishing line, right? And we have to cheer on to people and imagine shouting and cheering for them for a few hours. And that itself is not an easy task, So and what is interesting is that you'll find that there are volunteers from all different walks of life, and then and all coming for the same cause, right? Coming to raise funds, raise awareness, and to contribute to a noble social cause, right? So, and then some people may find that, oh, is this really meaningful? But yeah, we're doing it for a good cause, and then we are raising awareness and doing charity runs this way, okay? And this is something that I think very meaningful and invaluable, right? And then we wake up so early in the morning just to go for all these things, right? So it adds meaning and purpose to our lives. Okay, next. So, well, this is just, one thing that I would like to conclude from my volunteering experiences or community engagement experiences that I had. I find that it was a thought-provoking one. It made me reflect more about my own life, actually. Okay, it gives me a deeper understanding of what it actually means right? To be living in a multicultural, multilingual, multi-religious, cosmopolitan city like London when I was doing my master's there at University College London many years ago. Okay, next. So yeah, these are some of the certificates that I had, and I think this is very important that I would like to share with all of you. Some of you may think that why am I involved in all these kind of things? I think one thing about getting involved in service learning activities or community projects is that you actually get not only your reflections that you write, but you can also get certificates, right? So, or we call it documentation. And I like to point this out that it's very important. All this documentation is very important if you want to apply in the future, future scholarships, or you want to apply for volunteering work, or you want to gain employment in some places. Okay, they do look at all of this, right? They look at your what you have done in the community, what you have contributed and served, right? So these are some of the certificates I had, and they actually value our contribution. And there was this award ceremony just for volunteers, and I received quite a number of certificates on that day, and I feel very much appreciated. And they really encourage you to contribute or give back to the community, right? So there's nothing more rewarding than giving back. Okay, so please make a difference in people's lives, right? In this great community, because we are all in this together. Okay, next. So next one, yeah, another one. So a certificate from sorry, before this, please. Yeah. So we had this, yeah. So from the community, right? From the organizations that we interact with, they can also issue certificates to us, right? So this is documentation that I've kept all these years, right? And we even appeared in newspapers. I didn't put it here. So all those will be great documentation for you if you want to apply for different things in the future, right? So because all these things count, right? Communities engagement, volunteering activities, professional development activities that you do with the community, and increasingly this has become very important. But it's not about just you talking about it. You have to show it. You have to put your documentation up there and show it as well. And then my engagement and with the Three Faith Forum, and I also received this acknowledgement letter from them, and they say thank you, and then signed by them, and it's really, really meaningful. And I find that these are very helpful and meaningful as well. So documentation, I'm sure, Prof. Sri and the others will attest, is very, very important nowadays. Okay, next. So, okay, and then this is also the active global citizenship workshop that we attended. So, and one of the reflections was, there are no unrealistic goals, only unrealistic time scale. Okay, so you can do anything you want to do. You can plan for anything, right? It's just that you need to have 4 Ps. Okay, positive vision, yeah? Perseverance in campaigning or advocacy, whatever you're doing for a noble social cause, and then you need to have political will as well, and power in numbers. Okay, in order to be successful in this kind of things. So I'm trying to relate to this innovative leadership conference. Okay, so this was Certificate of Achievement, UCL Global Citizenship Program, and then this was a certificate that I received from Chevening Secretariat, acknowledging for my contribution in volunteering, the number of hours, and I think it's a silver award. So the UK government gave us the acknowledgement as well. Okay, next. So yeah, these are some of the UTM's CSR or service learning initiatives, and some of you may be familiar with some of these as well. So we did what we call foster school projects. So we go to schools, and then we do projects with the schools, right? Because I'm part of a language academy, so we do language activities, yeah, incorporating the state education departments, sometimes even involving the parents, the school teachers, and most importantly, the students. Okay, and then we also have what we call Adam's Seagrass Adventure, okay, where we create awareness about sea creatures, and then environmental pollution, and we ask the students, community, and the people out there to be involved, get their hands dirty, get down to work, and also to contribute to the environment. And apart from raising awareness and campaigns about environmental friendly activities, as well as raising awareness about water pollution and sea pollution in this case. Okay, next. Well, we also have what we call Toys for Friends, where we bridge privileged and underprivileged schools, and then we choose a few schools, and then we ask them to share their toys. With the kids from a more privileged background sharing the toy with those from an underprivileged background, and then we ask them to write reflections and stories for their friends from another school, and they become like a pen pal program. Okay. And then we have neurodiversity awareness conducted with hospitals, with the community out there, giving talks and workshops, and so on. So community service and service learning activities, there can be a wide range, right? Okay, next. So we also did Literature Day. So some of my colleagues are also doing using literature to express themselves, right? So they have heroes and legends across cultures, for example, and then they do puppet theater project, and they use arts and craft, drama, and poetry and so on to express themselves through literature in collaboration with U.S. Department of State and so on and so forth. And then some of the colleagues also did a MasterChef Junior series, where students not only get involved in cooking activities, but also contributes to community impact and teaching them about healthy snacks, and then presenting about recipes, same time learning to present in English language, for example, and then having fun, of course. At the end of the day, it's about having fun, right? Contribute to the community and teaching them as well. Okay, next.
Prof, I think the time
So
is up.
yes, okay.
We
So
have
I will
about
finish in
1
2
minute,
minutes.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll finish in 2 minutes. And these are some of the objectives and community service as a community engagement and service learning. I think all of you are quite familiar with all of this, so I wouldn't go through this that much. But I'll just point out Mahatma Gandhi's words, be the change you wish to see in this world. So I think it's very important. Okay, next. And benefits for you, okay, deeper understanding, more research opportunities for you, and then you can practice your leadership skills as well, project management, communication, those are very important. And then personally, you will learn to empathize with people and being resilient, I think, and of course to be adaptable and flexible to different kind of situations, being open-minded and learning about sharing is caring, right? And then feeling a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, and so that you wouldn't get lost, right? And you feel that, oh, you're always supporting one another. And the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Okay, so service for the community is important. Okay, next. So yeah, and benefits for the universities and communities. I think that is also very important. So for the university, you will get stronger reputation, like what Prof. Sri has mentioned. It enriches your teaching and learning process as well. Okay, and then you also will be able to develop a kind of large network and linkage, and then you will have a solid alumni too. Okay, with the communities will gain access to your expertise at the universities, and then you can share your knowledge, and then there'll be capacity building activities being conducted. You can tailor solutions to address and solve problems on the ground, real life problems, right? And then sustain some partnerships. Okay, all right. Next. And yes, how to overcome those challenges. Okay, plan early. Okay, have some cultural competency training. Yes, and then work together and try to shift your projects, not only just making it a project, but also making it into a partnership in the future. Integrating into coursework so that it becomes more meaningful, kill a few birds with one stone. And if you don't have motivation, then you can offer to lead some of the projects and suggest what you're passionate about, so that you're doing service learning activities that will be meaningful to you because you're passionate about it. Okay, and plan early. That's very important. Okay, follow up, follow through. Okay, next. Okay, so linking the service learning to SDGs, I think this is what this conference is all about. So I'm sure all of you are quite familiar with it by now, and I think it's Ramatan Lil Alamin. Okay, so related to different SDGs, of course, SDG 4, 5, 3, 13, 17, and blah, 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 16, of course, 14 as well. And then it's about aligning societal needs, evaluate your research, and then make sure that it has community impact, right? So that SDG is a guide for us, very good guide for us to do that. Okay, next. So yeah, and then to promote that, there are many different ways, and I think maybe others presenters will also talk about this. Okay, so and we're trying to move from just university to communiversity. Okay, so that means community and university coming together for different kind of activities for shared goals, right, and to co-design projects, and of course to achieve SDGs as well. So we're talking about spiritual, emotional, and ethical elements, which is part of Sejahtera, something that is championed in Malaysia under Malaysia by Nadi, and also University, so IIUM in Malaysia. Okay, next. So yeah, I think we'll finish there. So whatever it is, I hope I've shared some of the success stories, but also some of the challenges, right, in community engagement and service learning activities. So I strongly encourage all of you to continuously be involved in community activities, and please do reflections. And I hope you find joy in doing all of this, and I certainly do. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry to take a bit longer. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Prof. Lee. So yeah, many points that you've stated that you are doing involvement in many ways of community engagement. That's the point that the personal reflection is it's important for all of us reflecting that is there any contribution from us to the community. So we have about 20 minutes question and answer. You can ask directly to Prof. Lee or Prof. Sri Suhartini, or you can do texting on the chat box. Yeah, we have 20 minutes from now. Is there any questions? Yeah, we have three first question from Maria, Fifi, and Fauzi. The first one is Maria. Please ask. Yeah, please deliver the question. Thank you. You can say it in Bahasa and then I will translate it.
Oh, okay. I try to say it in English. Thank you for the opportunity. Let me introduce myself. My name is Maria Kalana Pare from Group 12. I'd like to ask question for Professor Sri Suhartini. First of all, I like to express my admiration for Professor Sri Suhartini, who has shared her experience as an extraordinary female leader. And here I like to ask question as a woman who also aspires to lead like her. In my time forums competing, in my experience, I've often felt that the majority of people consciously or subconsciously tend to prefer men as leaders because women are perceived to being too emotional. So what I'd like to ask is, how do we get started, or what steps should we take to strengthen our brand as a trustworthy leader, even though we are a woman? Maybe that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. I think yeah, go to the second questions from Fifi, and then after the Fauzi, and then the answer. Thank you. Fifi.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Let me introduce myself. My name is Fifi Mauliza, and I'm from Group 51. And I want to ask to Mr. Lee Hwan Yik about a community service. So, my question is, how do we maintain the benefits that we have provided to the village, so that it still has a sustainable value? Because so many students like us, and also so much friends here, still students, and we don't have enough time, and we have limited time because our activity, and then our courses, yeah, something like that. That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. The third question from Fauzi. Ahmad Fauzi.
Sir?
Yep.
Yes, I'm so sorry. There's technical issues in my phone and my laptop, so I'm so sorry. to be off cam. So I have My Excellency the pemateri dan juga yang lain, and my question is simple. I'm so sorry. I'm using mixed language. Yeah. We as a young generation. Excuse me, wait. We as a young generation is directed by the government to become an Indonesian Golden Era initiator, but sometimes we confuse. How can we achieve that? Because recently there is a lot of international and national problems that face our nation. How can we keep our spirit and motivation as a leader candidate at the future? And what small steps that we can do to make a nation dream come true? Its question is for Miss Suhartini. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fauzi. I think we are going to the first question from Maria about the strong women leader. Is there any comments from Prof. Suhartini?
Yeah. Thank you, moderator. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, thank you for your appreciations. You know, we share the same problems here. Being a woman, it is a challenge to be a leader, especially living in Indonesia, where patriarchy, male is always dominated. Okay, but you need to remember Indonesia is much being opportunity compared to India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, etc. Here in our country, women are more appreciated. And Indonesia already set the goal that in any activities, industries, or governments, they need to involve women, at least 30%. So we need, as a women, so we need to get those percentage to be part of a women leader. It is not easy. It needs a lot of effort. Yeah. As a women, we need to build our own capacity and capability and showing them to men or women. Yeah. Sorry, Pak Inggang. Showing to the world that actually, yes, we are capable. We know that women is always sensitive, right? We always think very complex. Okay. And my personal experience, I'm being lucky or I'm being blessed because I have three big brothers. So I don't have sister who doctrine me to think as a woman. So because I have three big brothers and I've been treated, knowing them how men act, how men think. So it's kind of influenced the way how I'm thinking. So for me, to be able to get what I achieved today, so I have to think more rationally instead of emotionally as a woman. And often I always ask myself, I am a woman because I'm not too sensitive, I'm not too, but then I have to be realized, because I have a vision in my life. I want to be someone who can provide benefits to others because of my religions. Maybe you know the quote, and maybe in your belief that we need to be orang yang bermanfaat, okay? To ourselves, to families, to community, to nations, or to internationally. So that is my visions global or like a big picture of my visions. Therefore, to be able for me to share, to be benefit, so I have to have my own capability. As if we want to go to a war, so we have to have our own ammunitions. So how to provide yourself with competence, you need to learn. You need to have an open mindset. Okay. Learning, you can get it from anyone, even from the child. We can learn something. Don't be too strict, kaku ya, orang yang kaku. No, open-minded. Okay, accept any information that it's good for you. Select those who are bad for you. Okay, act and think differently toward other, and be wise when you face any problems. Okay, don't act immediately. So you need to think first. Okay, that's why I experienced so far. So yes, a bit tough being a women leader. It is a tough effort, but it also need a patience. You not yet finish undergrad, okay? So maybe you have a set goal, finish your undergrad. If you want to improve your capacity, then continue your study. Depend on your passions, okay? Because in my scene, I was appointed as a lecturer after I graduate my undergraduate. Okay? So I need to continue study master, PhD. In those period, I built my own capacity because we know, living in these countries, living in these organizations, if you don't have capability, people won't see you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But prove that you are a trustworthy woman. Okay, motivate yourself. Yeah, it can using internal or external motivation. It can be from yourself, it can be your family, it can be from your friends. For my experience, my biggest motivation is my mom. Yeah, my mom is my biggest motivations, so that I want to be the person I'm nowadays. I'm happy that I born as a woman, because throughout my life journey, I know women is very much strong. The strong living humans in the world is women. Believe me. I think that's all my comment for Maria. Keep your effort and motivations and become the next future leader. Yeah, for me, the next future women leader. Yeah, much better than me, of course.
Thank you. Yeah.
And yes,
Yeah,
and
I think
directly to
the question number 3, Fauzi.
Fauzi.
Yeah, about he's confused about the become the leader in the future, how to motivate ourselves.
Yes. Okay. Sometimes being a leader is not because we want to become a leader, but sometimes it's also happening because you are chosen or you are selected to be a leader. And often people see capacity and capability in you, that you are good as a leader. And often we don't know why. Okay. So I know, the challenges faced by these generations, your generation, is much more complex to what I faced before. Okay. With the globalizations, with the internet, with the social media, with the perceptions, okay, with the culture, with the government distractions, there are so many challenges you will face. So from my point of view, if you want to be, or if you are willing to be a leader, then you have to set the goal on yourself. What kind of a leader you want to be? You want to be a leader who are doctrinized, who are easy to get angry or adaptive or futuristic, what? But make sure, if you are a leader, then you have to appreciate more your member. Being a leader, there is a good quote, yeah, from my colleague. Okay, I will read it in Indonesia. Menjadi pemimpin itu harus menderita terlebih dahulu dan bersenang-senang kemudian. Janganlah menjadi pemimpin yang bersenang-senang terlebih dahulu, baru menderita kemudian. Meaning, if you are a leader, then you have to be able to putting yourself, to putting yourself, your effort, your think for the improvement of your institutions, the improvement of your member. Keep them as your first priority, not you yourself. Yeah, if you are able to do that, go ahead, being a leader. If not, just follow. Because being a leader is very tough. Okay, we have to think rationally. We cannot think emotionally. Rationally, sometimes we also need to follow our heart, our heart and gut feeling to choose to make decisions for win-win solutions, and it is not easy. I hope that's answering Fauzi questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Prof. Sri. The question is from Vivi for Prof. Lee about maintaining the benefit from the village and then about the sustainable value, because the project is only a month project and then they come back to the campus, so they leave the village. So they want to do
Okay.
more about the village. How we handle it.
Okay, sure. First of all, I think people are definitely the community is definitely very happy if you want to continue your engagement with them. And as I mentioned, you can engage with the community even on your own, sometimes not necessarily through the capacity of a university. Okay, so you can even talk to them, meet with them, but as long as you have a clear vision and goal about what you want to do. Okay, so let's say they have an issue there, and then you want to guide them or teach them, and you want to get involved in that particular issue, or you want to solve certain problems in the community, and you can keep it going. Or let's say you want to start a tuition program, right? So all these things can be ongoing as well, and if it doesn't involve any costs, okay, if it doesn't involve much resources, you can just go on, right? You don't need to ask for more funding. Yeah, you don't need to you wouldn't get paid. It's okay, but at the same time, you can serve the community there, right? So I think it's only a bit difficult if you need funding. Yeah, if you need funding to continue certain kind of projects, then yes, you will need to find some sponsors. But sponsors are not necessarily from your university. You can get sponsors from the community itself, right? You can get sponsors from private sector, from the industry, or from some donors, right? Who want to donate for a good cause, right? So I think if you have a clear vision, a project that is for a noble cause, I think there are people who are willing to support what you want to do, and you can continue your project over there beyond that 1 month. Okay, so and I think what is happening right now is that service learning is just a component. So you have it as part of the component in the curriculum. Okay, but that doesn't restrict you from going beyond that. Right? If you're really interested in something, passionate about it, go ahead, lead it on your own. No problem. You can start an NGO. You can start a startup company or whatever you want to do. You see? So and I think there are endless possibilities now. And some people can even create awareness just online, right? You can start a platform online and you can create awareness, shooting TikTok videos or whatever videos, and keep it going and keep the conversation going. And I totally agree. No man is an island. You can't do many things on your own, right? I think Prof. Sri also mentioned that. So you need to form a team and find some like-minded people and then contribute. Maybe not in that particular village, but on a bigger scale, maybe you do in a few villages. okay, or you do in other villages in the future, so that more people can benefit from it. And at the same time, you can keep your project going and keep it sustainable. And I think there was somebody who mentioned that there is a time constraint issue. So I totally agree. I think I mentioned it a lot as well. You have your assignments going, you have other things happening as well. Just keep in mind that if it's something that you're really passionate about, okay, then you will do whatever it takes, yeah, to keep it going. It's not easy, managing this kind of activities or this kind of project or programs. Not everyone is as passionate as you, okay, but there are ways to go about it. I think you need to have at least a small team to work together. And then, yes, you certainly need to sacrifice a lot of things. I mentioned also sacrifice your time. Perhaps you need to use the weekends, semester break, or whenever you are free. I think we can make time for it if it is something worth doing and you really, really are addicted and passionate to service learning. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope that
Prof.
answers the
Lee.
question. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's interesting about the NGO and then startups. Yeah, students are concerning about the community engagement as well. And yeah, I think I'm sorry for the next question. I think this is the time for our session, and then thank you so much, Prof. Sri Suhartini and then Prof. Lee Huan Yik for the excellent speaking. Now this is the time is up from our session, and thank you so much for the speaking. And yeah, I'm going back to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
your
Mr. Ika, for guiding us, and thank you to our keynote speakers for the notable presentations. Okay, as a token of appreciation, we would like to present certificate to our keynote speakers. First, Professor Sri Suhartini, please join us in the screen. Okay, there will be a documentation, so the committee would like to capture this moment. Okay, let me help the countdown in 3, 2, 1. Okay, is the committee ready? Okay. Okay, now we move to Mr. Lee Huan Yik. Okay, I will help with the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and that's all for our documentation. Thank you once again, Mr. Lee Huan Yik and Professor Sri Suhartini, for sharing your insightful experience. Now, after the discussions we have, we may continue with the plenary session for our next session with our moderator, Mr. Heather Jamaluddin, SPD MSE, for our 2 sessions. Please welcome Mr. Heather Jamaluddin, SPD MSE, from Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science.
Okay, thank you, Sherlyn Alicia, for next session. Yeah. Okay, we can now we are going to continue for the second plenary session. For this section, we will have 2 speakers. Yeah, first, Mr. Mujahidin Ahmad, PhD candidate from Kyushu University, Japan, and the second, we will have Professor Valerie from Russia. Okay, thank you. But before we get started, I would like to remind the rules of plenary session for all participants, dear respective participants, please following the rules in the plenary session. First, all participants will be muted or silent mode by the host, except the resources person, moderator, and participant are allowed by the moderator during the discussion session. Second, all questions can be submitted by chat with this format, name underscore address to whom and underscore question, or by clicking the raise hand feature to ask question directly to the speaker. Third, use the provided virtual background on your Zoom screen. Thank you. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to invite Mr. Mujahidin Ahmad, PhD from Kyushu University.
Halo, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, before we get started, I'd like to inform or to read short curriculum vitae from Mr. Mujahidin. Yeah, Mr. Mujahidin Ahmad, PhD candidate. Yeah, currently studying in Kyushu University with research interest, animal taxonomy and diversity, animal breeding, feeding and management, animal health, physiology and immunology, vaccine science and technology, recombinant technology, potential bioactive compounds for anti-stress agent or antioxidant. Okay, social activities and trust, molecular biology society Japan, and he has so many research articles that already published, yeah, in international journal indexing by Scopus. Three of them are construction and recombinant bacillovirus expressing, yeah, FMDV capsid protein using golden gate cloning, and evaluation of the antimicrobial activity of curcuma mango nanoparticles in vitro. Third, immunomodulatory activity of Allium sativum, curcuma mango, and Acorus calamus combination nanoparticles on mice leukocyte profile. Okay, Mr. Mujahidin, how are you?
Yes, Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. And you, Mr. Haidar Jamaluddin?
Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Mujahidin, we talk or delivery a talk about advocacy and policy influence. Yeah, it relates to the youth generation. Yeah, what they will do or what they have done. Okay, Mr. Mujahidin, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Haidar Jamaluddin, for the time. And thank you as well for the committee assigned me to come and give a sharing about my experience in this good occasion. Let me to share my screen now about the topic. Brother Jamaluddin, can you see my screen, right?
Yeah, we
Can you
can
catch
see
it? Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace, blessings, and mercy of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala be on all of you. Salawat and salam are always delivered to our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In this occasion, I assigned to share my experience about advocacy and policy influence in the role of sociopreneur. In this very prestigious event, fifth cycle international conference in Brawijaya University. Okay, the outline of my presentation is the first is introduction, the second is advocacy and policy influence, and I will give you some of my case study about Pusung Dur story, and then Kelut and Semeru Mountain eruption, the COVID-19 pandemic, and my current research future challenge, as well as my social activity and community engagement in Musfuk and PGIM Japan. Actually, when the committee contacted me to involve in this activity, I realized that I don't have a background in advocacy and politics. My father and my mother are teachers, and I live in the family of teachers. But related with this topic, I have inspired with the Arabic proverb, "Lisanul hal afsahu min lisanil maqal." So the best advice to everyone is an example. So I have principle related to the topics. The best people are those who provide the benefits to the others. The second one is help your brothers who oppress and are oppressed. And if you have an ask prayer, pray for your leader, because the big decision will be made by the leader, and the big change and the benefit in the spreading to the community will also the change by good praying of ourselves. So related with the topic as well, help your brother who is tyrannizing and being wrong is maybe the definition of advocacy. Also, if you have efficacious prayer, then pray for your leader is also the policy influence, because the influence is not only top to down, but also from bottom to up. So I believe that the prayer has the magic, has the power to change everything. So don't obey your praying every time. Okay. The three key characters of youth, community, and leaders. So we have to define what is youth, what the characteristic and qualities of the youth. The youth is identical with the vitality, imagination, passion, responsibility, enthusiasm, adventure, vigor, and without 5L. Okay, you can translate in your language like lemah, letih, lesu, lunglai, letoy. This is not the quality of the youth. You should be have a power. And then the community, to build the community, in the health community, you have to curiosity, compassion, collaboration, perseverance, integrity, the joy, and connection each other. So in the Japanese language, maybe you should become the people that has sumeh, sambang, sambung, semara, semana, smile, and then you can connecting each other. You easy to collaborate with every people, and then you have a familyship, you have a friendship. This is the characteristic of the good and health community. Also, the leadership. The good leadership has a purposive, the effective, and satisfying each other, and have the ethical, moral. That this is most important things. So in the Japanese language, maybe the people should be pinter, kober, bener, seser, lumer, and banter. Pinter meaning that you have knowledge, not only the IQ, but the EQ, emotional quotient. Cover, you have time. If you pinter, but you don't cover, it is not sense. You cannot give something benefit to the people. Bener is right. You go to the strike way. You go by the rule, not corruption, collusion, nepotism, and etc. This is auto decision. Lumer is flexible. As a leader, you should be flexible. You have to adaptive to the society. And the banter is speedy. Yes, you fast. You work fast. You think fast. You make the decision accurately. Yeah, okay. Okay. And the three components to become a good leader, you should have the good intention to improve. The first is intention. Innamal a'malu bin niyat. The every activity is based on the good intention. If your intention is bad, the result is bad. But if your intention is good, everything they do will resulting in the good as well. And then the second one, the setting the real example in the society. You should differ between the boss and the leader. If you are a boss, you can purchase something, you give money, you give what you have to employ the people for your goal. But for the boss, it's cannot. You cannot do that. So this is a difference between the boss and the leader. And then the third is praying for our positive perspective. Because if you pray for something, you mean you have the positive thinking about that. So these three important things should be belongs to the good leader. Okay, this you can see the difference between boss, leader, and how it works. How the boss uses people, but the leader develops the people around them. Okay, I will share you some of the case study of my experience in Indonesia and maybe some part in Japan. Maybe from 10 until 12 years ago, I'm involving in the community service to give what the benefit to the peoples that we believe also benefit for us. Maybe there are so many activities, but I will tell you maybe 4 examples. Okay, in 2012, I was assigned to meet social religious activity in Pusung Dhuwur village. Pusung Dhuwur is some of Dusun in sub-district in Senduro Lumajang, in the trench of the Semeru Mountain, one of the highest area in Java. I assigned by the non-government organization, namely ASEAN Muslim Charity Foundation, for 1 until 2 months. I teach cultivation, I teach animal husbandry, I built the bridge, broken. We built a bridge in the river, taking firewood and something. But I don't want to tell about the whole story about my activity in the Pusung Dhuwur. The most interesting scheme that I until now cannot forget is about when I met someone with his profession is shaman or magician or paranormal or dukun. Okay, dukun is not good for the community. Dukun is not good job, I think. So I discussed with him and I advised him to quit the job. But what the solution? The solution for that? So I have, because my background is also animal science, I thinking about how about raise the animals for the job. So I call my friend in Malang, in the alumni of King Mongkut University. I can mention like Dr. Fahri. Now Dr. Fahri is lecturer in fishery faculty, Bridge University. Also Dr. Yusron in agricultural technology. I call them and we discuss about the fundraising infestation about how to buy about 200 ducks to the alumni friend and give to him and he to replace his job. But this is sharing, not philanthropic. I mean that they should report the result of the eggs every month and etc. But until 1 year, we give it all to him, and he became a dark egg businessman instead of the shaman or magician until. Okay, and then the second case study, when Kelut eruption in 2014 in father and mother-in-law. My in-law house almost completely collapsed because of the ash of the eruption of the Kelut mountain. And with the principle of leadership, I mobilized tens of my friends, for months as social service in Ngantang, not only did in my law benefit, but also surrounding community. So I also talked with my dean to make a survey to Ngantang to target the community development program and sign the memorandum of understanding with the sub-district or Pak Camat. So the dean make decision that UIN Malang Faculty of Science and Technology will execute the program of CDP concentrated in the eruption area for 3 consecutive years from 2014 until 2017. Okay. This is with this activity, more than 100 staff or lecturer involved, 100 students also involved, and more than 50 programs per year executed, more than 5 villages helped, start from Plumbang, Pandansari, Ngantang, Sidodadi, Pait, Kasembon, and etc. And it is the SK from the dean to make the community service development in Ngantang area because of the Kelut eruption at the time. The other cases is in 2020, we know that we have the COVID-19 pandemic at the time. So many people dying every day, including my best friend, Akbar in Saujajar. At the time, I still remember that my friend need wait very long time to be buried, maybe up to 3 days due to the large number of deaths. In the peak season of pandemic at the time, maybe in the early January 2021 at the time. So because I at the time is a chief of Muhammadiyah Youth Movement in Malang, I call the mayor of Malang, that is Pak Sutiaji at the time. Pak Sutiaji, called I buried my friend with my team, because I understand philology, I understand the mechanism of pandemic spreading and etc. I study about philology and etc. And the mayor allowed me, and then I make volunteer team, build volunteer team. We raise fund from the community through Lagismo, and we perform a team, train, spend money on the COVID supplies, and we work about 1 year for that, and we buried dozens of bodies together with volunteers according to standard of COVID-19 protocols with my friend. It is some of the documentation at the time, and this is how the civil society can serve the community and give a very huge impact to the society. This is only one non-government organization, I think, like Nahdlatul Ulama, Persis, Al-Irsyad, and anything civil society power also did the same thing. You can see that only for Muhammadiyah, it gives more than 300 billion rupiah during the pandemic. I think this is very huge number, because if we calculate, we can build many schools for that. And more than 28 million of peoples get the benefit from this activity. Also, I will share about the similar eruption for 21. I became the chair of Muhammadiyah Youth Movement in Malang City at that time. We raised fund for social service in Semeru. We established a post in Pronojiwo, Lumajang. We built a public kitchen, medical volunteers, and ash removal team. and all of volunteer not be paid anything. Just we give the food during the activities. That is the volunteer and philanthropy activity. Over 100 people were involved and dozens of homes were helped. And my activity distribute over 100 million rupiah during that time. The last I want to share my experience in serving Chairman as Muslim Fukuoka in Japan. We have some social problem like halal haram food, crimes, worker operation, Indonesian citizen illness and deaths that want to take back the body to Indonesia that is very expensive. So I make some activity like the education, fikih al-qaliyat, joint studies with national preacher, advocacy through paralegals, fundraising to fund patient and body transfusion to Indonesia, and joint charity for mass circumcision or sunatan massal in Japan. And this is the documentation of some of my activities. Also, Nobar is community engagement moment in the society. I think is also important sometimes, and to foster the patriotism and love for the nation. We hold Indukai when Independence Day coming. We also provide the activity for baby message class for the family that has the baby health check-up, because some of our member is doctors. We spread some kurban to Indonesia, zakat from until the Papua and the other activity. And my current activity is research about the production of vaccine from silkworm larva and pupa with local genetic resources. I said local genetic resources because I isolate the local FMDV virus spreading in Indonesia 2022 or virus PMK at the time. So I have the DNA of that virus. I clone to the vectors. I make a recombinant baculovirus, and I produce the VLP or virus-like particle that can be produced inside the silkworm cells, larva, or pupa. This is the workflow or my research, and appreciated by some institution. In the next future, I hope my research could contribute to the pandemic mitigation, vaccine production based on local genetic resources, affordable and easy to handle vaccine for humans and livestock, self-reliance or ketahanan nasional for vaccine demand. There are some quote from Holy Quran: "Whosoever kill a person, it shall be if he had killed all mankind. And whoever saved the life of one person, it is if he has saved the whole of humankind." Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 32. This is the product. It will be like this, the easy hand vaccine in the pocket. Thank you. I think that's all of my presentation, and thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I give again to Mr. Haidar.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mujahid. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, okay. thank you, Mr. Mujahidin. Okay, for the next speakers. Hello, Mr. Mujahidin.
Hello, yes, Mr. Haidar Jamaluddin.
Yeah, actually, I just lost connection because the poor connection. So
It's okay.
you already finished your talk, right?
Yeah, I finished my, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. For the next speaker, we will have Professor Valery Leonidovich Muzkian from Russia. Professor Valery, are you here?
Yes, hello. I can hear you. Salam.
Okay. Prof. Valery, how are you doing?
Baik, baik.
Oh, baik. Oh, so you can speak in Bahasa?
Well, a little bit.
Ah, a little bit. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, before we get started for your section, I'd like to inform about your short curriculum vitae. The committee, please. Actually, currently you are in Russia or in another place or another country, Prof. Valery?
Well, you know, I am so far away from Indonesia, my lovely Indonesia. I am staying in Russia, just near Moscow, the capital of Russian Federation. Yeah.
Near Moscow. So
Yeah.
it's summer or winter?
Yes, it's you know, summer, but very rainy season, like in Jakarta. You know.
Yeah, quite same with Malang City, East Java province. Okay.
Right.
Wait a minute. Okay, Prof. Valery, yeah. Sorry if I'm mistaken when I read your name.
That's
Okay,
okay. That's
Professor
okay.
Valery Leonidovich Muzkian, yeah, from Department of Mass Communication of RUDN University, Russia. His research interests in branding, digital communication, and marketing management. Yeah, wow, you have so many achievements. Four of them is first winner of the National Book Competition on New Media and Strategic Communication, scientific supervisor of PhD, postdoctoral, and MBA programs on new media branding. Yeah, visiting professor at the University of Zadig, Spain, Lublin University of Technology, Poland, Shanghai International Studies University, China, and many more. And fourth, professional experience is based on cooperation with industrial companies in various fields. Yeah, Siemens, Germany, Samsung, South Korea, Mercedes Daimler, Germany, and Takeda, Japan. And Professor Valery researched so many research articles that already published in international journal Scopus Indexing. Two of them are countering fake news on Chinese social platform, communication features of Weibo and WeChat, published on 2025, and analysis of hoax news about Russia's special military operations in the Indonesian media, published on 2024. Thank you so much for being here, Prof. Valery. Yeah, and for Prof. Valery, we'll talk or we'll deliver a talk about innovation and long-term impact. Are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Okay, Prof. Valery, the screen is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me share my screen with you. And firstly, let me introduce my warmest regards from Moscow. And before starting my presentation, let me tell you something. I decided not to reduce my PPT and touch upon many topics in case you will have some questions or for further discussions like that. And, I am dealing with many topics concerning Indonesia, involved for more than 10 years in this activity. And I have PhD students, and there are some PhD students that are just with their thesis underway. So firstly, let me start my speaking about things which are concerning very much. So yesterday, everything was circling around political parties. Now everything's been circling around the space of media. That's the reality. So it is.
Valerie, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Do you mind to slide mode? Your PowerPoint is.
You cannot see my PPT?
I can see it, but do you mind to change to the?
I'm changing, sir. Yeah, I'm changing. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Slideshow mode. Change to
now
slideshow mode.
I changed. I have done it. Not?
No, I mean, do you mind to zoom in your PPT by click slideshow mode?
Okay. Yes. Let me try once again. Yeah.
You can click the button, the feature slideshow feature.
Let me try once again.
Close to maximize and minimize control. Okay, it's okay. You can continue your presentation. Sorry for bothering you.
No, excuse me. No, you can see my PPT right now, yeah?
Yeah, I can see it clearly.
So let me go on, no?
Yeah. Please.
Excuse me, yeah.
Yeah.
So I decided to divide my presentation in several parts. So firstly, let me just show what we've done, with my laboratory and my Indonesian community friends. We just published a number of articles, participated in different kind of workshops in different places of the world. And we just, participated in different kind of conferences as well as in different parts of Indonesia as well, yeah. Starting from South Sulawesi, up to Lembongan and different places like Lombok and Bali and different places like Terbuka University, UPN Veteran University, Bina Dharma, etc. So during those conferences, during those meetings, I was shaping, my ideas, how to present, what to talk about, and what to speak for today. If we talk about SDG, firstly, we can see those changes made by the United Nations organization, and we have now more goals than before, more targets, indicators as well, and scope changed a little bit, that. So talking about this topic, I just like to show the comparison of the SDG index among Asian countries, where Indonesia is keeping this place. It is a very important place, very prospective. And in our discussion, I will touch upon those 6 strategies which are so important for our today's discussion. So, what was discovered during my group research? Firstly, we published a number of articles, as you mentioned before, in high-ranked journals, Indonesian, international. We published, it's just only about topics concerning Indonesia and my Indonesian colleagues and friends. So during the discussion, we found out some strong and weak points of AI. And during those sessions, we found out that human input in decision-making is becoming smaller and smaller step by steps. So artificial intelligence soon, will try to avoid human interference at all. So starting my speaking, I would like to say that, artificial intelligence is trying to bring really new realities all over the world. So those slides, I'm just touched upon this point because my idea is to speak about influence of artificial intelligence, about risks we may face in the nearest future. If you look at our reality, we could see that, our target audience very, very vulnerable to the different type of fakes. And firstly, I would pay your attention, attract your attention to the point that the most vulnerable target audience of those years, of this age. So we concentrated all our research on the people of this age, not just in Europe, Asia, United States, but, in Indonesia as well, because these people just, the main body of, Indonesia, as well as, a number of internet users, which now about 210 million people in Indonesia. So we discovered, that the main principles which were put forward by international researchers like my friend and colleague James Gruenig, they are like, trust, control, mutuality, commitment, satisfaction, communal relationship, exchange relationship. They, the very, keystones of our development. Though there are some technologies because of artificial intelligence, which could, break down all those achievements. So we are not, I would say, prepared really for this challenge coming from artificial intelligence. We are so different, according to the theory of Lewis model, this is when we look at this book, When Cultures Collide. So Richard Lewis, my colleague, he just proposed that we have very different national character, and some of the national characters very vulnerable, to those hoaxes and different kind of fakes. Let's look at this triangle, famous triangle. I'm sure you know this because it's from the basics of management. So some countries are behaving like very people-oriented. And Russia as well, included in this red zone, very open to the people, very emotional, very, very, open-hearted, I would say. Some people not so open, they consider it as cold nations, especially white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, This is so-called blue zone. But some countries, including Indonesia, they are jet-oriented. So looking for traditions, looking for some kind of special attitude towards time, people, jet-oriented or traditional-oriented, or I would say very, 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 I would say very slow in taking decision in the meaning of, if you look at this map, you will see how different we are. So looking at this map, we may see that some countries in the red zone, very people-oriented, some very task-oriented, and some jet-oriented or oriented to traditions, to different kind of things, which I'm supposed to talk about later on. But this map is showing that, we are different, not just in the meaning of our mentality, but in the meaning of even misinterpretation of different gestures. So it means that, as my previous colleague was speaking, we have very, very different traditions. It doesn't mean that we are different and there is nothing common of ground, among us. But if you look at this picture, it was during the first time of President Trump office. He was speaking, it seems to be in the favor of Japan. But that time Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, he just, disliked those gestures, those points. He just turned, back his head, not to look at those gestures. It means what? you are saying something inferior, but in reality, you are showing with your body language that you're just the leader. And, Shinzo Abe just like, I am, I am a black belt karate expert. I've been to Japan many times. And, it's very, 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 very sensitive for Japanese people to behave in this way. And, because we are just different. And this is a prerequisite, for those fakes which can be distributed among our communities. In management, usually with my students, Indonesian students, we just share in this matrix. I'm sure you know this Bartlett-Goshal model of international strategy. It means that sometimes I am taking into consideration local traditions. Sometimes I am ignoring. And some companies behaving like this, they're ignoring. Some taking into consideration local traditions. It depends. So we have 4 completely different strategies for implementing your business, your political activity as well. Let me show an example, which was, one of the very, very, famous all over the world. And probably you know about this. When Toyota company, I was dealing with this company, tried to enter Chinese market, they use this poster. Everything seems to be fine. This very famous place near Beijing. You see those 2 guys, we call them in Chinese Shiza, in Japanese Sisa. It's like Kong in Vietnam or Barong in Indonesia. So the man is saluting Japanese car. It means that it's okay, please enter our land, but it's very famous place, Marco Polo Bridge, where really the Second World War started. What it means for us? It means that, this place is very sacred for Chinese people. And they lost about 30 million of people, the largest losses during Second World War. And, this place is not very, I would say, correct, very good chosen, for this promotion. So it means we are different, or, we just made a mistake. But this mistake is just, numerous, because, next mistake was by Dolce & Gabbana. They decided to enter a Chinese market with this, presentation. And it was considered by Japanese bloggers, in digital era as, racist. As if, Chinese people don't know how to eat pizza. So, it was given a resolute rebuff to all those attempts of penetrating into a fashion market by Dolce & Gabbana, a very famous company. It was a mistake, but it was prerequisite for real hoaxes. The next slide about Zara Group. All ladies know about that business. They, displayed a lady model with freckles on her eyes, her face, sorry. But freckles, it means what? In Chinese, ladies don't have freckles, It means that you have to change your national code because of this model. So it was considered again as something which is really racist. From a European point of view, it's nothing, but for mentality of Chinese people, I was working there and teaching at SSU University, so it's something different. And finally, the last case about Dalai Lama. He was a face of Mercedes Daimler. I was dealing with that company. It was the greatest mistake, because Dalai Lama is, I would say, he's not the best person to promote Mercedes, especially in China. So Chinese bloggers, gave resolute rebuff, and celebrities in China responded negatively to all those things. You may see from those posters. So I want to emphasize that, then Dolce & Gabbana apologized like that. But the question is, is it done deliberately, or it is a mistake? Or is it maybe we can talk about prerequisite for hoaxes and different kind of fake news, which could, ruin all our achievements in the field of SDG. And so what are the weak points of artificial intelligence? So firstly, if you look at the printed advertisement, it's okay. 70% is your brains are working. If you look at something from the screen, only the first part of your brain being involved in this. So you can easily manipulate people. And over here, you may see the Battle of Raqqa. From one point of view, it's a victory. From the other point of view, everything was ruined. So it is also prerequisite for hoaxes. So over here, Raqqa, from point of CNN, US-backed forces declare total liberation of ISIS. But over here, from Russia Today, victory through annihilation. It's very different approaches. So if you look at the same picture, but it's different story about the Gaza province of Gaza, yeah, about Houthis, about many topics like that. So it works, you know, like really prerequisites for our topic I supposed to discuss. So the first ever fake appeared concerning, let's say about Russia during COVID-19, that Russian President Putin released about 800 of tigers and lions, you know, on the streets of Moscow to force people stay at home, not to appear into the streets. You know, my Nigerian students from Africa, they ask me, we are just laughing because from Africa, so many calls. Is it really lions on the streets of Moscow? So my Nigerian students answered, no lions, because this picture actually from Johannesburg, the capital of South African Republic, you know. Very primitive, but the first international fake like that. So we can differ fake news in three actually big tracks. Misinformation. What it means? You know, I don't have any kind of special intention to fool you, you know, because you see, it's kind of, I am not so involved in this business. I'm just sharing messages. The other way is disinformation. When I do something deliberately to do you, you know, really big harm, and quite a new one, malinformation. What is it? It's, you know, when you're just a researcher or you're just journalist and you're just making some kind of investigation, but I am just trying to openly speak about your address, your kids, your place of staying, you know. So someone can influence greatly what you are doing. And my colleagues, Hussein Derakhshan and Claire Ward, in 2017, appeared with this first report, which is so important for our discussion. So what is to be done? Part number 3. So we are living in a post-truth era. What it means, post-truth era, for us? It means that, you know, people just trying to live in the way, not like before, because truth is, I think, therefore I am. But post-truth era, I believe, so that's why I am right. So I don't want to hear any kind of different opinions. And during COVID-19, when virtual communities were forming, like, you know, mushrooms, so this idea just becoming very important. And this perception of in post-truth era, you know, relies on stereotypes. People just interpret what they want to see, because really there are some prerequisites for that. If you talk about real truth, in different countries I was working, you know, like in Germany, the truth is that's the truth. In Japan and Britain, the main thing is that there is no quarrel. It means that's truth. In China, there is no absolute truth. In Italy, you know, you can agree upon truth. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. So if I show you the scale of fakes which are penetrating into our society, especially Indonesia, I will talk about that. You may see, you know, satire and parody seems to be the very slightest appearance of fakes. Then false connection. There is no connection between parts of my speech, between the headline, the lead, and the main body of text. Misleading content as well. But there are some high harm, like false context, impostor context without the source, yeah, manipulated and fabricated content. There are very dangerous things. So let me give you some examples, like sketches, you know. It seems to be nothing like, you know, something serious. But look at this picture, you dislike both presidents, you know, because in reality they are not like that. I'm sure you've seen so many pictures in TikTok during 2024 election campaign in Indonesia. If you look at those pictures with Matryoshka, it's Russian wooden doll with some shakes, you know. So how can you then pronounce after looking at this, you know, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? Because it's not so serious. It's parody. parodies the slightest but really, really dangerous things, you know, to our community. So for us, as specialists, as professionals, we must look at this from different points. So I'm saying it's a slightly, you know, something which make us to be mocking at some things which are, you know, very, very sacred for us, you know. So the next one, fake news about 5G technology, as if, you know, this technology is bringing COVID, you know, to our lives. It's terrible, you know, like that. A friend of mine was from China. He was living in London, and near his house was, you know, 5G station. And, you know, he saw, he was, you know, observing how local Brits, you know, they're ruining that, you know, 5G station. You see, it's incredible, really. And you remember, maybe it was recently, when Dettol liquid, you know, is, you know, helps you to fight COVID. If you drink, if you consume this, it's terrible. And finally, you know, talking about politics, Mr. Trump, during his first coming to office, he was using the picture of Pope Francis. You know, he used this picture as if Pope supports his coming into the office. It had nothing to do with reality, but it happened, you know. So there are many fakes of all context. It's not reality, but especially terrible things like that. The real picture like this, but with use of Photoshop, you may put some picture on the back of this fighter, you know. It means that this organization has something with this situation when you're beating the policeman. So if you look at the world map, you may see that, you know, people with higher education, like our community, we're just concerned about fakes. But in some countries, fakes feel, you know, themselves, you know, very free. And first of all, let me mention the name of Eduardo Martins, who was the first who used those fakes, and he was selling his pictures as if his pictures to New York Times, Washington Post. He just put his face in the pictures done by some other people. You know, it's terrible, but, you know, he easily, you know, inserted his ideas into our everyday digital life. When we started our first research in Indonesian society, it was first wave in 2021, 2022, with my friend Munadil Abdul Muksid. Now he's working for the Indonesian government. We found out, you know, in our research, when you distribute questionnaire, we reached all parts of Indonesia. All parts of Indonesia, you may see it over here. There were responses like that. It was 537 respondents, you know, with different status, to make our research with unbiased assessment of the research. So we found out that, you see, fakes were coming in a week for 40 Indonesians, for our respondents, you know, 40. That time, you know, it was 3 years ago, please remember. And you see, then we found out that our population of Indonesia, like that, so the most vulnerable part of our target audience, starting from 16 years old. So let me just proceed to the next slide. A half of our respondents, you know, were facing difficulties with, you know, identifying the fakes. It was not so easy. Just a half of our respondents found out difficulties. Then, you know, also people just identify that when source is not clear, it means that there is something wrong with this message. It was quite understandable in general for 66% of our respondents. Then, you know, we found out that a half of respondents, you know, try to fact check those fakes via Google. It's incredible because Google sends those messages and you try to, you know, check up those messages via Google. So we'll find the same answer for sure. And almost 90% were found out those hoaxes as, you know, annoying. No wonder. You know, the most part of fakes were coming from about politics and government. It was on the eve of the election, changing of power in Indonesia, like that, after the COVID. But half of respondents answer that all those fakes just made idea out there, you know, to shape public opinion. So people just clear enough in understanding what's going on with this. But, you know, the most important thing, maybe the most terrible thing, is that people were quiet. more than 50% were quiet about those fakes. They're keeping inside those ideas, those information, I would say. So during COVID, there was a boom of those fakes. And, namely 76 and 70, almost 77%, found out those fake news. And we publish, in our book with my Indonesian colleagues in the Springer, pandemic communication and resilience about those effects. And, finally, which platforms were spreading those fakes? You may see Twitter, WhatsApp, and Facebook. So I must confess that, those three sources just forbidden in Russia, because we started special military operation. Next, I will talk a little bit about that. And those three sources just forbidden in Russia because of their fakes. In Indonesia, they did the same things as well. So please mind that. So what do we expect? The last part of my research. What do we expect? So if you made the second wave of our research, we distribute our questionnaire, and what we've seen, in our research with my group of researchers in my laboratory. So we distribute questionnaire. We found out different sources of information which were used about Russian image in Indonesia, especially about, we don't call it a war, we call it special military operation, because there is no signs of war, so it seems like, but in reality it's special military operation. And you see, the first fake ever appeared about this, about Kiev ghosts, as if there is someone who just destroying Russian planes like that, but immediately appeared disclaimer about this. This military jet in reality does not exist, because there is no jet like that, and no officer with that name. It was a disclaimer in Indonesian media. And then there was one more hoax appeared, that is if Russia is being helped, by China with some kind of weapons, ammunition, like that. Then immediately appeared disclaimer that it's not so, it's not true. Then appeared some new hoax about Snake Island, as if there some soldiers were killed. It's not, true as well. A disclaimer appeared. So just, I'm running out of time. Then some more hoaxes, the main idea is that, I want to emphasize that many organizations in Indonesia, fortunately, they are taking care of those fakes. They are publishing some kind of disclaimers like this. And it's very, very, respectful, And you see, so we found out that Indonesian respondents just can see the difference, between the reality, their follow-up, what's going on in Russia. It was very interesting for me. We're making now the same research for Indonesian image in Russia as well. So we'll go on this cooperation, I hope, with you. So, on the 1st of January this year, Indonesia became a new member of BRICS. On the eve of that event, we made a framing analysis. Indonesia is ready, how it was done, like this. And we published a number of articles, about that, very briefly, just to complete my speech. So I will tell you that, we made that analysis, define the problem, identify its causes, give a moral assessment, and give recommendations. So our recommendation, which was published over here in high Scopus journals, that 2 and 1, that yes, Indonesia sooner will become a member. And really it happened. Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world, became a member. It's very good for BRICS, as for Indonesia as well. So I will not get into details, but let me just proceed to the very end of my PPT. So we have program anti-fake in my country. You also fight on those fakes, but the most important thing is that we are consuming, I would say the sources which belong to very influential companies. And, this man, I'm sure, he just, fighting, Mr. Carlson, he's trying to fight those fakes, He's not alone. our inventor on Instagram also trying to fight those fakes. It's not really easy because Zuckerberg was also influenced by previous US administration, and Mr. Trump promised if there is something wrong, Zuckerberg will be brought to the court like that. So I want to complete my PPT. That since 2011, almost 90% of media consolidated by 6 companies. You may see all of them, yeah? 90%, you can imagine, yeah? 6 media groups. It means that they could easily set the agenda and, influence our ideas. And it is so important that we must always keep in mind that, there are really danger to our SDG goals, which are very important for sustainable development. And now BRICS countries, they are part of GDP 32%. It means that there is very, very positive changes in the world are becoming. The world is becoming multipolar instead of unipolar. So in progress, many research and publications, which I hope we will continue with your university. And, we defended a number of theses with my Indonesian students. And we will go on with our research. And I hope that everything goes smoothly in this case. So, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum. It's about everything. Very, very briefly. Sorry for my, speeding, with my speaking, because so many topics I wanted to touch upon. But in general, I think it's like that.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Valerie, for sharing insightful topics, and it is the most concerns topics. One of if you're talking about the trust around the world. Okay, for dear participants, I give you opportunity to ask to our keynote speakers. Mr. Mujahidin from Kyushu University, Japan, and Prof. Valerie from Russia. If you have a question, you can raise hand. Okay, first from Rimalia Valerina. Okay, please.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rimalia. I came from Group 62, and I'm deeply grateful for Mr. Mujahidin and also Professor Valerie for the valuable knowledge and inspiration that you shared. And I want to ask several questions related to the advocacy for community and with the long-term impact needed, so it can be answered by both of you. So a quick look back to the program that I delivered during my community service last month. I delivered a media-based outreach program with pamphlets on children protection laws and the celebration of National Children's Day by using a community health post approach, or we used to call it Posyandu right here. I observed that every parent who participated in the outreach program was able to follow the program effectively. But however, in the practice, there are still many challenges for the advocacy itself. There are several structural and also cultural issues in the society that persist with low literacy rates and also unequal access to the education. So I want to ask what measures can be taken to ensure that the service or the community service projects in low resource communities continue to have a long-term and sustainable impact after the program ends, specifically for the social-based program that is more engaged with the aspect of human life and culture. That is all for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Very nice question. First, maybe Mr. Mujahidin.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Heather. I'd like to answer the question from Sister Rimalia Valerina, very nice question about some of difficulties to make engagement to the community. Maybe I have 3 steps to make the intimate communication with the leader in the community, leader, etc., to make our program can be done easily and sustainable in the next future. Maybe we can consider 3 steps to make engagement with the community. The first is ta'aruf. Ta'aruf is meaning that you should know each other by introducing, know each other about the name, the address, the occupation, the hobby, the everything. So you can continue with the second one is tafahum. Tafahum, it means that you understand each other. Ta'aruf, tafahum. Tafahum meaning that you understand what they need. Not only what we want to do, but what they need. So we come to the village, we come to the community to solve their problem. Not our problems, but their problems. And the third is a ta'awun. Ta'awun is meaning that symbiosis, mutualism. So it is the relation between the two peoples that we can share what we have and we take also the benefit from them. And also the communication is very important to develop and to maintain our relation with the community. So I think, for example, I give you the example. The first example is the Posung Dhuwur in Lumajang. Until now, I still communicate with him, although the program is finished. But I think they still raise the ducks. They still get the job for that. And I think this is the simple example for what is it to meet to solve the problem of the community in our surrounding. Answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Prof. Valery, please.
Yes, sir. If I may add something. Yes, dear Amalia, Valerina, you know, my colleague Mujahidin Ahmad just touched upon very important topics. I would add also, you know, very important things concerning my report and from my point of view that, you know, many young people, many young leaders in my country, in Europe, in the United States, in Asian countries, thinking that, you know, because their life started with digital era, that before digital era, there was nothing, you know, there was no history like that. And sometimes people, you know, just being, you know, when going to the rural region, you know, you see that life is completely different. So we must take into consideration all those, our roots, I would say, yeah, all those things which are being very close to people, you know, with limited education, with, you know, different kind of traditions like that. We publish a number of articles about Malaya proverbs. I am looking at this, you know, ideas we just done with UPenn Veteran University, you know, and it's real life which been ignored in digital era. So I wish that real leaders, you know, just look more deeply in our traditions, our roots. That's I want to add to my my colleague's speech, you know, that before digital era there was quite a large part of history, printing media, broadcast, TV, like that. So digitalization, you have strong and weak points, and we must include all this, all those achievements from different points if we are really leaders like that. So just very briefly. Terima kasih.
Okay, sama-sama. You're most welcome. Rimalia, is it answered?
Yes, it is. Thank you so much, Professor Valery and Mr. Mujahidin.
Okay, before I please to other participants to ask, Prof. Valery and Dr. Mujahidin, yeah, I'd like to ask one question. After conducting or after doing community service, we have to publish or we have to spread the result of our community service. What the tips and tricks to build the theme, the title of the news without exaggerating something of what we have done from our title, because some people do that to viral their activities. Okay, maybe Prof. Valerie or Dr. Mujahidin, please.
Please, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe Prof. Valerie first. Also, please.
Well, so because I don't have a clear connection, so maybe you start, my dear colleague.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Valerie.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The question is about the. Okay, Prof. Valerie, you want to answer the question or
no, you are go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Valerie. Maybe the question is about how to make some tips or trick to publication for our community service report like that, that not dominate the individual to being narcissism about what
like
they
that.
already done in the community. So I already told in my presentation slide that we have, before we start do everything, we should start with the good intention. Why we should do that? Because with the intention, the good intention will also encourage the other impact, including the process, the way to involving the peoples around us to join our community service activity, as well as how to publish. You know that some people publish the community service report just only to fulfill the academic requirements, to fulfill the administration requirements. So we should back to our first intention, why we should publish and how we should publish. So I think by back to the first intention, we will clearly to encourage the reader of our publication to make the better community service next time in the same place or with some modification of the technique or methods or the the community service condition. I think that so our publication should be encouraged the next people, the next student, the next offspring maybe to do the better things than us. I think that's one of my answer.
Okay, thank you. Prof. Valerie, please.
Yes, yeah, I'm ready to join. Yes, I hear more clearly right now. I would share the ideas of my colleague, Mr. Mujahidin Ahmad. Really, there is a real gap. If you're just making some kind of, if you're making some kind of research, we publish it, you know, not necessarily this report will reach our target audience because there is a certain gap between new generation, which is using, you know, as we mentioned before, TikTok, stuff like that. So our research on short videos showed that people just much better, you know, consume this kind of messages. So sometimes our publications go separately with real life. I was talking about that in my PPT. That's why we must look for a certain correlation between our research, sharing our ideas with a new generation via new channels like we mentioned before. But again, we must take into consideration there are so many fakes and distortions. So we must be sure that, you know, our information is being done, you know, with unbiased assessment, right? Like that, yeah? Unbiased ideas. So certain messages and certain channels of communication must be used. But please remember that also we have a quite range of those messages. So really there is a gap, and instead of narcissistic, you know, and stuff like you mentioned before, we must look for some real ideas. And when we studied with our research team about Pancasila, about some ideas in Indonesian society, I think you have so many interesting basic grounds, you know, for those research and distribution of those ideas. I mean, we are new means of information, new means of messages and the new mean of delivering those messages to target audience. This gap must be filled up with our new ideas, new leaders, and new content. I meant that. Just in general, yeah. Shukran jazilan.
Thank you, Prof. Valerie. Now we are going to please Yoga Ramadhani.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask Professor, but before that, my name is Yoga Ramadhani, international relations student. So I was interested in your presentation, especially the part about the media influence itself in shaping public perceptions. And as we know, shaping perception, the public perception is especially crucial in fostering values like tolerance from an early age. And my recent community service, or we call as MMD program, I worked on culture and tolerance education for elementary students, which made me realize how important it is to ensure that information and narrative are accurate, constructive, and free from misleading influence. So my question is that in a post-truth era where media can easily amplify misinformation and disinformation, how can leaders build and maintain public trust and commitment without falling victim to distort perception driven by emotional narrative? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yoga. Prof. Valerie?
Thank you, Yoga, for your question. Yes, really very good question. And we are thinking about that. So firstly, I would say that, in the era of post-truth, as we mentioned, it's not we mentioned, actually started from the beginning of new millennium. So the main idea is that, the main idea that community leaders, must always double check the things they're talking about. They must be sure that, and if it's a necessity, they must use different kind of sources information was retrieved from, like in a scientific community. So for the leaders, it's very important, Mr. Yoga, to be very, 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 very clear. And, as today's we've seen our scientific speech, it was kind of, but it must be adopted to the real communities, real people, with sources of information, with some quoting if a necessity. So there are several rules I mentioned before. If you want to reach the trust with community, you must use systematic approach to the situation, like, object, subject, goal, time, space. You must talk about all those things in order to avoid manipulating. What is the difference between manipulation and influence, if I ask you? The difference is, that when I'm manipulating, you don't know my goal, what I'm doing this. If you want to influence people, you just directly and openly and clearly talking about the goal of your intentions. That's a great difference. And people feel all those things. You want to ask something, Mr. Yoga? Yeah, please go ahead. I see your raised hand. Yeah, you're go ahead, Mr. Yoga.
Okay, thank you.
No, Mr.
Is it answered, Yoga?
Sorry, once again, please.
Is it answered?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Next, from Ahmad Fauzi, please.
All right. Sorry, sir. So not turning on my camera because there is an issue. My question is, and before I start to ask my question, I am Fauzi. I am a forestry student of agriculture faculty. Okay, I think nowadays we can say that now is an AI era because its futuristic function and capability. In fact, it is potential to some others using it to be a propaganda material for the people, agencies, and government. So my question is, how can we, as a student, filtrate that kind of hoax information so we will not fall into it? And what are your tips to become selective and smart when we receive an information that has a lot of ambiguities? Thank you. I think it's a question for Professor Valerie. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks for that question. Really, we must differ between real information, like in journalism, for instance, like in journalism, with what we call public relations, PR. What is the difference, actually? If you look at the speech of Mr. Trump, for instance, you will see that he is using one of the 4 models of public relations. Actually, this course, I think, my idea, I am deeply, sure about that. I'm very positive that all courses about public relation must be the courses about public relations must be I'm deeply sure that courses about public relation must be implemented in different programs, irrespectively you are taking agricultural courses, mechanics, mathematics, or some humanitarian tracks. So I'm sure that you must know about those public relation models. First public relation model is called propaganda. I am just trying to influence you, and you don't have other sources of information. You're just following what I'm saying, because you cannot, verify my information. Model number 1, because I'm setting the agenda. But I mentioned name of Mr. Trump. He's using model number 3. Model number 3, asymmetrical model. I am giving some crazy idea. Anyone, within 20 days, within 50 days, within 1 week, within 10 hours, you can do anything. He just trying, to give some false goal, to us. Then he just trying to reduce his, requirements like that. So we must be, very prolific at those PR models, because they are different. They've been used, in digital world every day in every messages for certain propaganda, for some, I would say, important information to deliver it from my company, to set the agenda as well. Then a symmetrical model, when I'm imitating that I'm very concerned about your ideas, about your everyday life. So this course must be taught, I'm sure, in our communities, respectively of your specialty, because sometimes we are good mathematician, or we are good at in agricultural sector, we are good leaders, but we don't know about those models, which are very, very influential for today, especially for a young generation of leaders. And they really hinder our SDGs, as we mentioned before. In general, my answer like that, like that, Mr. Haidar.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Devin Naufal Nugraha, please.
Okay. Is my voice clear enough?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity, so I can ask the question. Before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Devin Naufal. I'm English literature student. I'm from group 59. So my question will be related into Mr. Mujahideen theory. As I'm a member of Student Representatives Council, I often see a difference in opinions when we try to advocate students' problems. So I believe in my religion, Islam teaches us to handle disagreement with patience, respect, and justice and wisdom. In your view, how can we apply these values so that our decisions are fair for everyone involved? I think that's my question.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. Devin Navalugra, for very nice question about my theory. Some source of my theories come from Al-Quran and the Hadith, and somewhere I take from the opinion of Salafus Saleh. Is that applicable also for everyone, for every community, and everything? Okay, I'll try to answer this question with what is it, the sentence from people. They said that the wisdom is the features of everyone that missing. So when you find it everywhere, you can take anywhere you can form. So it means that truly the knowledge is universal. The knowledge is universal. For example, I implicit one of the verses in Surah Al-Ma'idah that I use. Man qatala nafsan بغير نفس أو فسادا في الأرض فكأنما قاتل الناس جميعا. Everyone who kill one person, yes, everyone who kill one person, it likes you kill everyone, humankind in the world. It applicable for every religion, every community, and every race, on every nationality. And the vice versa, وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. If you give the life to one people, it means you give the life to everyone people. Not mind what your religion, your race, your faith, your offspring, your nationality. So we can encourage the community with the universal teaching that's come from your religion, for other principle that can be used together. So we also in Indonesia, we have some question that very important, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Yeah. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, it means is unity in diversity. The diversity is what is it? It's nature. It is not good if one is the people is homogeneous, only one faith, one religion, one race is not good. So the God treat us with the heterogeneous, with multicultural, to know each other. Yeah. In one of verses in Quran, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala said, Allah creates everyone with many race, and the purpose of them is lita'arufu, to know each other, to help each other, to understand each other. So hope this can answer your question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mujahidin and Prof. Valerie, for the answers. Maybe the last closing remark from Prof. Valerie and Dr. Mujahidin in terms of our community service and how to spread the impact of community service. Thank you so much.
Please,
Dr. Mujahidin, first, please.
Okay. The youngest first. My closest statement for this very nice occasion is I want to take the quote that from the hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, khairun nas anfa'uhum linnas. And the most important people, the most valuable people that can give the benefit to the others. This is my close question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Prof. Valerie, please.
Well, I want to express my gratitude for this invitation to this conference. It is very important. I'm very proud that I'm a part of this conference with such esteemed and respectful speakers like Mr. Mujahideen Ahmad, like other speakers. Really, I want to express my gratitude, and I hope that as a result of this conference, we may complete kind of publication, yeah, because it's very important what we are talking about. Thank you so much one more time. I wish you prosperity to your famous and good, speakers and students and all organizations, all people who organize this meeting. And I hope that our cooperation will go on with some fruitful results. Thank you so much. Terima kasih. Shukran. Shukran jazilan.
Спасибо, Увидимся снова.
Спасибо.
Okay, you're most welcome, Prof. Valerie. Okay, my dear participants, now we are at the end of this plenary session, the second plenary session. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing the impactful topics, the impactful talks. I hope it will give insightful for our students, to develop their soft skill, their hard skill. Okay, thank you so much. I'm Haider Jamaluddin as moderator and this section. Wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Okay, Sherlyn Alicia, please.
Okay, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Haider Jamaluddin, for guiding us through the second plenary session, and thank you for Professor Valerie and Dr. Mujahideen Ahmad for the remarkable presentation. Okay, so as a token of appreciation, we would like to present certificates to our keynote speakers. Mr. Mujahideen Ahmad will go first. The committee, can you share the certificate? Please, Mr. Mujahideen Ahmad, join us in the screen. Okay. Okay, so that the certificate is not visible, please let us take a documentation. Okay, I will help with the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, the next certificate goes to Professor Valerie Leonidovich Musikan. Okay, please, the committee. Can you share the certificate to the screen? Okay. Okay, we will have the documentation in 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you for all of the participants. Okay, before we have the break, allow me to deliver this information that after the break session for all participants, we will have a panel session. Can the committee give us the presentation? Okay. Okay. Wait. Next slide, please. Okay, so the room will be divided into 9 rooms, and please rename your account to room_name_MMD group. Let me read it one by one. The first room will be in group 1, 10, 19, 28, 37, 46, 55, and 64, and 73. The second group will be group 2, group 11, 20, 29, 38, 47, 56, and 65, and 74. The third room is for group 3, 12, 21, 30, 39, 48, 57, 66, and 75. The fourth room is for group 4, 13, 22, 37, 31, 40, 49, 58, 67, and 76. Room 5 is for group 5, 14, 23, 32, 41, 50, 59, and 68. Room 6 is for group 6, 15, 24, 33, 42, 51, 60, and 69. Room 7 is for group 7, 16, 25, 34, 43, 52, 69, 61, and 70. Group 8 is for group 8, 17, 26, 35, 44, 53, 62, and 71. And the last one, room 9 is for group 9, 11, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, and 72. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so here are the moderator and operator for our panel session. Room 1 is Mr. Syahrul Sajidin with operator Krisan Manurung. Room 2 is Safaruddin Hisham Tualeka with operator Samuel Krisetia Sinaga. Room 3 is Mr. Langgeng Setiono with operator Nikade Syafira Laksmi Devi. Room 4 is Nikmatul Iza with operator Sacaka Dani Suboko. Room 5 is Rizky Fadila Agustin Langkoti with operator Michelle Tan. Room 6 is Dr. Rizka Amalia with operator Ripka Sartika Tamba. Room 7 is Dr. JC Agnia Rahim Putri Tamara with operator Petra Kurnia Wijaya. Room 8 is for Dr. Firman Jaya with operator Jasiel Pascalio Lapoliwa. Room 9 is for Trimeka Asri with operator Emmanuel Bagus Wicaksono. Okay, please rename your Zoom account into room underscore name underscore MMD group. Okay, then we will have a session break to pray and rest, and participants may conducively take a break, and do not forget to be back on time at 12:50. Thank you. And also do not forget to fill in the attendance form in the chat Zoom.